Hello everyone and welcome to Friday. We are back with another review, and it's not of it's not anime. We just finished watching Planet Earth, which was a BBC series that ran, I think, in 2005 or 2006.
Five?
It's a little older, but whenever we finished Full Metal Alchemist and we're deciding what to watch next, Mal made the suggestion of watching Planet Earth because she said that, for one, it'd be nice to kind of have something a little more mellow.
Yeah, that's not a storyline, and it's not...
And also for, inspiration.
Yeah.
Just in terms of...
Well, I was working on the Abzu painting when we started it.
Okay, so that's why you weren't interested.
Yeah.
It's pretty short. It's an 11-episode series. BBC produced it. It is about a decade old at this point. It's narrated by David Attenborough, and it was pretty good. I'll say that. Like, as far as the nature documentary goes, I think it was actually very well done. There's a lot of footage of animals that haven't been captured on video before.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of cats. Like an unusually high number of cats, especially in the first few episodes. It feels like it's
yeah.
Here is a cat. And I'm like, okay, and then a few minutes later...
You mean a big cat, not
Yeah, well, obviously, it's every episode, this is a domestic house cat. It was, honestly, it was really well done. It's in HD, which, I don't know, I grew up watching, the Discovery Channel or National Geographic when I was a kid, and we didn't have HD, so now you can, count the fur.
Yeah, and they're working on a 4K version.
Too many furs. Then you can see all the fur. I enjoyed it, and I thought that the way that they covered things were good, because every episode is devoted to...
a thing.
Devoted to a particular landscape.
Yeah.
It's not devoted to particular animals or particular life forms. It's like the Great Plains, or...
Seasonal forests.
Seasonal forests. Or there's one about the desert, which I thought was going to be the worst one. It was actually one of the most interesting ones. And the episodes are pretty long. They're 45 to 50 minutes long. And you're like, how can you spend 45 minutes in the desert and make it interesting? But they do a really good job. The only hang-up I have with the series is that there is reused footage throughout a few episodes.
That's what I was going to say.
Otherwise, it's great. It really is great. You learn a lot. There's a few repeated facts, but that's fine. I don't have an issue with that because then it helps, kind of get it into your head about certain things. But I really do have an issue with a series that's, only 11 episodes. There is repeated footage.
In the beginning, they're look at these polar bears. And later on, they're here's polar bears again.
And it wouldn't be so noticeable, but they spent a lot of time both times on these polar bears. You could tell that it was a situation where they needed the polar bear footage for each episode that they were talking about, but they only had footage from the one set of polar bears. Maybe polar bears are hard to find. I don't know. But, that was the weird thing. And there was a part early on where, a wolf attacks something, an antelope or some creature like that, some deer-like creature. And... they make a big deal about it, the wolf is stalking its prey. And then it shows up in a later episode, and they play it out, the entire thing, again. And I'm sitting there, and I'm like, man, this feels really familiar. And then, whenever you see the calf, fall over, I'm like, that's the same thing. We're watching the same footage. That's my only hang-up.
Yeah, I agree.
But I do have to say that it happens not very much. It's a very rare thing for them to do that. But I wish they wouldn't have done that, because that was my only hang-up. There's an episode that's completely dedicated to caves, and it's super, super interesting.
That was really cool.
And also gave me weird vibes from the first Donkey Kong Country. But that one is really good. Every episode is really, really spectacular. It's a great series. When I say my only hang-up is with the fact that they repeated footage, that was it. Otherwise, there's great footage of snow leopards.
Yeah.
Which apparently had not been captured on film before, which seems bizarre, but I feel like that's what they said in the series, and I was like, really? That seems odd, but okay. And there's a bunch of rare animals that, their habitats are decreasing to the point where there's not.
Yeah, there's like
many
less
of
than
them.
1,000.
Mm-hmm. So it was neat. I mean, it's largely about animals. Like, they talk about the environments, obviously.
And plants too, but
it's mostly
animals.
Mostly animals. Anyway, highly recommended. It's only 11 parts, and that's our review, if you wanna call it that. As for what's next, I'm not sure. There is a follow-up series that BBC did a few years later called Life, and
they have a few other ones like this.
we'll probably maybe watch that at some point, but not next.
Okay.
We're going to get back into doing some narrative type stuff. Anyway, if you've watched Planet Earth and you have opinions, leave them below. And if you have another nature documentary series that you think is really cool that we should check out, talk about it. The only animal that I really wanted them to hit on, because I think it's such an interesting animal.
Cheetahs?
No.
Oh.
That I think it's such an interesting animal is big snakes.
Oh, like anacondas?
Anacondas, or like the really big pythons.
Yeah.
I think there's just such interesting creatures, and they didn't hit on them in the show. But they did hit on a lot of cats.
Yeah.
So I gave them a pass, because I was like, oh, look at that kitty, it's so cute. It's giant, but it's cute. And I kept doing that the entire show. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?